What if the most resilient human species never actually vanished, but was forged in fire to reclaim the Earth? 40,000 years ago, the Neanderthals vanished from the fossil record, leaving Homo sapiens as the sole inheritors of a planet that once belonged to many. But today, we are playing a dangerous game with time and biology. We are plucking them from the brink of extinction and forcing them to run the ultimate gauntlet of history. A 40,000-year stress test of every major disaster our planet has concocted. Evolution isn't a gentle stroll through a meadow. It's a brutal, bloody forge. It's the environment screaming, "Change or die," until only the strongest mutations remain. In this experiment, we aren't just looking at how they survived. We're looking at how they transformed into something beyond human. We are pushing them through 3 cataclysmic extinction-level events, each one designed to break their spirit and their DNA. By the time we reach the modern era, will they even recognize their own ancestors? Or will they have become a species of prehistoric gods? Buckle up. We're going back to the frost, the fire, and the filth of the deep past to witness the birth of the ultimate survivor. Our experiment begins in the heart of a white apocalypse. Around 26,000 years ago, the planet entered the Last Glacial Maximum, the coldest Earth has been in 100,000 years. In our real timeline, the Neanderthals had been dead for 14,000 years by this point. But in this reality, they are alive, and the world is trying to freeze the very marrow in their bones. When you live in a world where the air freezes your breath before it even leaves your lips, biology takes drastic, even grotesque measures. Nature dictates that bodies in cold climates must become shorter and rounder to conserve every precious watt of heat. Our new Neanderthals don't just get stocky. They become biological fortresses of muscle and fat. Imagine a 5-foot-tall frame packed with 200 pounds of pure explosive muscle, shielded by a thick layer of brown adipose tissue, a specialized type of fat that generates heat like a biological furnace. But the most shocking change isn't in their muscles, it's in their minds. When we examine the skulls of their ancestors, we see that brain size actually spiked during these cooling events. Why? Because you can't out-muscle a blizzard that lasts for 1,000 years. You have to outthink it. These Neanderthals are developing massive frontal lobes to manage complex social hunting patterns and intricate fire-starting technologies. They are becoming shorter, faster, and smarter. Their lung capacities are expanding into barrel-shaped chests, allowing them to hunt for hours in the thin, oxygen-poor air of the frozen highlands. Every year the world gets colder, they only grow more formidable. They are the refined version of humanity, forged from the ice into something nearly unkillable. This is the first step toward the superhuman, a creature that doesn't just endure the cold, but thrives in it. Just as our Neanderthals perfected the art of living in a freezer, the planet betrays them once again. Around 15,000 years ago, the glaciers began a rapid, muddy retreat. You might think this is a blessing, a prehistoric summer holiday, but for a creature built for the tundra, it's a terrifying existential threat. The mammoths, those walking grocery stores of the prehistoric world, are dying out. The woolly rhinos and cave bears are vanishing into the shadows of history. Our sumo Neanderthals are suddenly carrying too much insulation for a warming world. They are overheating under their own skin, and more importantly, they are starving. The massive, calorie-dense meals they relied on are gone. This is where the true genius of evolution kicks in. The art of adaptation through absolute necessity. They can't find big meat anymore, so they have to get skinny. Evolution begins to favor those who can travel long distances without burning 5,000 calories a day. Over several millennia, we see their limbs lengthen to dissipate heat more effectively. Their iconic broad noses, once designed to warm freezing air, begin to shrink as the climate becomes humid and lush. They are transitioning from heavy-set brawlers to lean, calorie-efficient hunters. They start supplementing their diet with seeds, roots, and smaller, faster prey like deer and rabbits. This shift isn't just physical. It's a cultural revolution. Smaller prey means they have to hunt more often, which leads to higher population density and more frequent social interaction. They are breeding faster, thinking quicker, and preparing for the most dangerous era yet. They are shedding their Ice Age armor and trading it for agility and endurance. Welcome to the Holocene. I don't call it the Genocide Era lightly. This is 11,000 years of non-stop environmental treachery. The land bridges are flooding as the sea levels rise, cutting off tribes from one another and creating isolated pockets of evolution. The open plains where they once hunted are being swallowed by impenetrable dark forests. 8,000 years ago, the forests of Europe weren't the peaceful woodlands we see today. They were a green hell, crawling with massive lions, wolves, and bears that had also survived the Ice Age and were looking for a new source of protein. Our Neanderthals are now in a direct, daily arms race with the most dangerous predators on the planet. In this claustrophobic environment, we see a radical, Wolverine-style upgrade. To survive a forest encounter with a lion that weighs 500 pounds, you need more than just a spear. You need insane grip strength and bone density. Selection favors those with bones like iron pipes and reflexes like a coiled spring. They develop a nomadic, ambush style of hunting. Imagine a hunter that can climb a thick oak tree with the speed of a leopard and drop onto a boar with the weight of a professional wrestler. Their senses, smell and night vision, become hyper-acute. They learn to track animals by the faint scent of fear and the subtle rustle of leaves. They are no longer just part of the food chain. They are the undisputed apex. They have mastered the forest, but the earth still has more weapons in its arsenal. We are now approaching the finish line, but the Genocide Era has one last trick up its sleeve. The Earth doesn't just change its temperature, it tries to poison the air and the blood. Between the years that saw the worst volcanic eruptions in human history and the arrival of the first great prehistoric plagues, the Neanderthals face a total biological filter. Around 536 AD, massive volcanic eruptions pumped huge amounts of toxic fumes into the air, causing a prolonged winter that lasted for years. Those old, cold weather genes from the Ice Age, they reactivate, clashing with the newer, leaner traits in a chaotic genetic battle. Then come the invisible killers. As our Neanderthals became more social and lived in larger groups, they became the perfect targets for disease. When the first great plagues arrived, they didn't have hospitals or vaccines. They only had their DNA. The only ones who survived the arrival of the great diseases, from the Black Death to prehistoric strains of influenza, are the ones with God-tier immune systems. We are talking about mutations that allow their white blood cells to hunt down viruses like wolves hunting sheep. These plagues act as a brutal scythe, harvesting anyone whose biology isn't absolutely perfect. By the time we hit the modern era, the survivors are a tiny elite population of perhaps only a few thousand individuals. But these survivors are the most durable humans to ever walk the earth. They are the product of 40,000 years of nature trying and failing to kill them. They have survived the ice, the heat, the lions, and the germs. To truly understand why they survived while others fell, we have to look away from the muscles and toward the heart. There is a true story from the fossil record that changes everything we know about these people. The Old Man of La Chapelle-aux-Saints. This Neanderthal lived 60,000 years ago, long before our experiment even began. When his bones were found, they told a story of incredible suffering. He had severe arthritis, a broken hip, and he had lost almost all of his teeth long before he died. In the cold, survival of the fittest logic of the wild, he should have died within days. But he didn't. His tribe fed him. They softened his food for him because he couldn't chew. They carried him through the snow when he couldn't walk. They kept him warm when the blizzards screamed outside their cave. This tells us that the Neanderthal's greatest evolutionary trait wasn't just bone density or lung capacity. It was radical compassion. In our experiment, as they faced the horrors of the Holocene and the Black Plagues, this trait would have evolved into a hyper-organized social structure. They survived because they refused to leave anyone behind. Their strength wasn't just in their arms, it was in their collective. They turned empathy into a survival strategy that was just as sharp as any flint spear. This social intelligence is what allowed their physical evolutions to take root. Without the tribe, the superhuman individual is still just a meal for a predator. They learned that to survive the planet, you must first survive together. So, here we are in the present day. What does our Super Neanderthal look like after this 40,000-year marathon of death? They aren't the brutish monsters from the movies. They are masters of their environment. They possess the explosive power of a silverback gorilla, the endurance of a marathon runner, and an immune system that treats modern diseases like minor inconveniences. Their brains are larger than ours, perhaps wired for a level of spatial awareness and long-term memory that we can't even comprehend. They are the ultimate testament to what happens when biology is pushed to the absolute edge. What can we learn from this journey? Evolution is a story of debt. Every upgrade, every bit of strength, every increase in intelligence was paid for in blood and struggle. The Neanderthals in this experiment didn't become super because they were lucky. They became super because they were tested to the very limit of their DNA. We live in a world of air conditioning, fast food, and instant medicine. We have stopped being tested by our environment, and in doing so, we might be growing weaker. This thought experiment serves as a haunting reminder. Comfort is the graveyard of progress. The Neanderthal's journey shows us that the human spirit, or the Neanderthal spirit, is capable of adapting to literally anything, provided we have the will to endure the pain of the change. The story of the Neanderthal isn't a story of extinction, but a story of what could have been if we had the courage to keep evolving alongside them. Thank you for joining me on this wild journey through time. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the what-ifs of prehistory, do me a favor. Don't just sit there. Adapt. Hit that Schwab button. That's my new word for subscribe, by the way. Because in the world of content, just like in the Ice Age, it's adapt or be forgotten. See you in the next era.